Good afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? How are the oyster mushrooms in your salads? Fully local, fully organic. Our oyster mushroom farm runs on 90% plus local inputs. And I hardly believe that any other commercial agricultural operation in the Caribbean can boast those statistics. We do have a big pressure on our societies. The term food security is thrown around all over the place. It's a very serious term, but the simple fact of the matter is, unless we can rationalize and localize our supply chains, there's no food security to be had. We can't build food security importing greenhouses, fertilizers, seeds, seedlings, and whatnot. So we have a big challenge in front of us because our geographies are small, our cultures are diverse, and our appetite for consumptions are influenced by North America. So we need a shift on the personal to the macro. And those shifts do not happen separate from each other. Does anybody know what they're looking at here? What crop is that? Rice. Yes, correct. Do you know we grow rice in Trinidad? It used to be a major production. Unfortunately, the sector has gone through some serious decline. That's what rice looks like just before it's going to be harvested. This is in the Caroni savannas. So we work with the rice farmers to collect the rice straw. So we work with the rice farmers. We have our hay baling equipment. When the rice harvest is complete, we go there and we collect all of the bales, which is the waste byproduct of the rice industry, previously a discarded resource. So we can bale 3,000 bales in 7 days, which is 75 tons of organic matter taken out of the fields and brought into our productive system. We use the rice straw to grow oyster mushrooms, which you had for lunch today. This is in the Caroni savannas. These are fungi, cultures. Petri dishes. So the mushroom that you ate is the fruiting body of the mycelium. This is what mycelium looks like on an agar plate. We breed, select, and reintroduce our cultures back into the environment. We multiply them out from a petri dish into bags and then into columns from which the mushrooms fruit from. The mushroom farm is a climate-controlled indoor facility, which we have also pioneered using environmental efficiency designs such as cool water systems, which provide the full cooling of the farm. So our farm is not cooled using air conditioners. We use highly efficient cold water systems, and we produce oyster mushrooms that are high in protein and completely local and free of all pesticides. We, last month, produced 2.5 tons of mushrooms, and every month our production is scaling up. Once the mushrooms are finished growing, the columns that they are grown on, which is pure rice straw, pure carbon, that has been given a second life to produce mushrooms, then leave the mushroom farm and get channeled to our composting facility. So this is now a second iteration of a commercial enterprise using a previously discarded and neglected resource. The challenge in this space that we're all speaking of today is largely about networking and bringing different stakeholders together to realize values that are economic, but are also social and environmental. And the three of those factors really cannot be separated from each other. So this logo slide loop that we have developed here is pioneered by Close the Loop, one of the core organizing partners with IAMovement for this wonderful event today. So this slide highlights a project that we've been ongoing. This year will be our third iteration of composting all of the waste from the St. Mary's CGIC FET. Last year, we diverted over 300,000 single-use bottles, plastics, cups, knives, forks away from the landfills. And because we use the vegware compostable packagings and utensils, we were in turn able to divert 1.4 tons of organic matter to our productive composting facility to make a high-quality organic fertilizer. So the organic compostable packagings get shredded up and incorporated into our recipes in the composting facility. This is our current composting facility. We were we'll be excited to announce the move to our new scale-up commercial facility in the near future. But basically what we do currently is that we work with the regional corporations and various stakeholders in the organic waste removal services across the country to divert that material away from the landfills into our facility, again, working to utilize a previously neglected resource. We are transforming a problem into a solution. But the challenge in this program is not to simply switch a one-for-one, but actually to bring those resources into a cascading network where the resources are looped continuously into other projects. So in the mushroom farm, we take the waste of the rice, we grow mushrooms. The waste of the mushroom farm goes into the compost facility. The compost facility also accepts the waste from the municipal services, and then we carry that into commercial agricultural systems. What you're looking at here in the slide before and this slide is mycelium. So we also feed the wood chips to the mycelium. They are the largest and widest distributed organic matter decomposers in nature. We use a thermophilic composting process with set recipes, set algorithms, very data-oriented. So we have very specific temperatures and very specific turning algorithms to ensure that we are safely pasteurizing all of the material, removing all harmful pathogens. And then our next layer of quality control is a laboratory where we use live microscopy to analyze the various microorganisms, the ecosystem that's beneath your feet that you can't see, to determine and benchmark all of the beneficial populations in a healthy soil ecosystem. So these are beneficial nematodes in this photo, and the photo above was fungi under a microscope at 400 times X. So the visible hyphae that you saw in the petri dish can also be viewed on a microscopic scale. So we take the compost and we make large windrows, and as we scale up the compost facility, our cost of production is coming down. And what that is basically allowing us to do is to move into commercial agriculture. So this is a view of the new compost facility that we are currently establishing in Orange Grove. We are excited to be networking ourselves more deeply into the public and private sector because this is not a single sector issue. And on a step-by-step basis, we will be rolling out this commercial fertilizer into the market. And we use aqueous solution to distribute these microorganisms back into the environments. So this photo here is actually in the quarry rehabilitation project that Jonathan highlighted in the previous presentation, where we put our microbes into aqueous solutions and pump them back into the quarry soil environment, which is highly degraded, and then are able to sustain a large reforestation project, such as ongoing, being led by IAMovement, without synthetic fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides. So the challenge is right now is that we are trying to break through into the commercial market to be price competitive with the standard petrochemical conventional agricultural model. And the simple fact of the reality is that as time goes on, as your global economy keeps shifting, as certain world leaders want to throw around tariffs like a toy, the simple fact of the matter is that whether you're in the corporate sector, the private sector, the public sector, you can no longer plan for the stable global operating environment that has been the status quo for the past 4 decades. So the truth of the matter is that we have an X amount of time which we can utilize our existing petrochemical energy to catalyze a transition into localizing and producing our own supply chains so that when the crunch comes, we have the ability to stabilize our food system. The last thing that I would just like to mention with my last 20 seconds is 2 similar projects that I didn't focus on today, but do reflect the nature of green infrastructure in a number of different ways. And one of them is Steel Frame Solutions, which is a local company in Trinidad offering cold-pressed steel structures, which reduce the impacts of construction processes, allow infrastructures to be set up in inaccessible environments. And what we are also working on in that project is to develop a foundation technology that can reduce the need for concrete by up to 75%. And if you know anything about concrete industry, it is one of the largest carbon requiring processes that we utilize today. So concrete is invaluable to our society, but it's just a small example of open opportunities for innovation that have economic returns in front of them. The other project, just for the last sentence, is that the trials we're running right now is to produce large-scale animal feed inputs using the microbes without any synthetic fertilizers. So what we are going after is this supply chains. If I can use local fertilizers to produce a raw material that could go into the commercial feed industry, we're cross-sectorally bringing down our risk. And if you're into business, risk management should be your #1 concern in the global environment. Thank you.